Hi guys, today's video is 7 myths British people believe about America.
Part 3.
Have we done part 1 and 2?
I believe we've done part 1 and 2. Yeah, we definitely done part 1
I
and 2.
recognise the title.
We definitely done part 1 and 2, and we pretty much believed them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Not every single one. If we don't believe it, we will tell you legends. Part 3, I mean, there's a lot of myths, isn't there, at the end of the day?
There is a lot of myths.
There's a lot of myths Americans believe about British people, which maybe we've dispelled in these videos, maybe not. Let us know in the comments below. But these videos are good, aren't they?
They are.
Check
and
out
Lawrence
Lawrence
is
as
good.
well. Lawrence is a legend, so check him out. But wait till after this video.
Yes.
Would appreciate that. Millie is also 36 in a week.
I think I'm 37 by this time.
Oh, by this time you might be 38. This is like a week and a half, I think she's going out. Maybe even later, I don't know. We're pre-recording, don't you worry, you legends. We're not just randomly uploading in a week and a half. But by the time we're recording, Millie is 36 and a half weeks. By the time this is going out, she may be 37, maybe 38, we don't know.
The baby might be here, might be no weeks.
Baby might even be here, which we will do a stream. But what I'm getting at is, we'd really appreciate if you checked out Patreon, but honestly, watching is enough, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, the chatting, the community, and stuff like that is definitely enough. But yeah, you ready to get into it?
I am.
Smash that button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. Let's check out 7 myths British people believe about America. Part 3. What have we got? Let's go.
Hello, this video is sponsored by
Fair
BritBox,
play,
the
Lawrence.
premier
Getting
streaming
sponsored.
service for Britain's most beloved TV shows. I'm Lawrence Brown and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to myths. Specifically, myths that British people like me believed about the United States of America. For those not keeping count, this is part 3 in the series. As is customary, I'll link to part 2 at the end of this video, and if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, do that now.
Same here.
Without further ado, here are 7 myths that British people believe about the United States of
I'm
America.
ready.
Part 3.
I love the way he speaks.
This is a sort of weird one. I think the
All
note...
Americans are rich.
I didn't think this. I thought all Californians were rich.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't think about America as a whole being rich.
Yeah. I can
But
see
I
this people
definitely
thinking
thought
this, so.
Californians rich and famous.
At the end of the day, the main influence you guys have is the movies, the TV shows, and that 99%
Unfortunately, in
of
the
the time,
movies, all the Californian people are rich.
it just pretty much shows, and like people, a lot, you broke it down to Californians, most people won't break it down to California,
No.
they'll just go Americans, so it does make sense.
Yeah.
You don't think about, oh yeah, they've got homeless people, you don't think about all this other stuff. We obviously know more, we've done these reactions. Like, That's definitely true, isn't it?
Yeah.
notion that all Americans are super rich, for me, comes from the fact that I was brought up in the 80s and 90s, and a lot of the films that came out of Hollywood at that time seemed to depict American families as super wealthy and, you know, just excessive expenditure. I'm thinking of things like Home Alone,
Yeah.
where you have this huge family in this huge house, or any sitcom in the 90s that seemed to vaguely be set in New York City, in which people lived in these massive apartments while simultaneously
Friends.
working in a coffee
Friends.
shop. But since then, I've
Oh,
come
there
to
you go.
find that
That's what
there's
he's talking
actually
about.
varying degrees of wealth throughout the entire country. In fact, there's probably more awareness these days in Britain that the United States has this huge gap between the super rich and the poor, and that for every giant house lived in by the McAllister family, there are homeless encampments in major cities. There are people
Same
living
everywhere.
paycheck to paycheck, as I did myself for many years. In some ways, it feels like most Americans aren't rich, depending on how you define rich.
Fair enough.
Here's the thing, right? When I lived in England and you get these kind of news stories coming from America
Thing
that,
is,
you know,
I
some...
never saw it. Like, this Florida man
No,
thing,
but if you type Florida man in Google, oh my god, loads comes up.
madness comes up. But I never saw it.
I didn't.
Before we did these videos, I'd never seen a
Me
bad
neither.
article like Florida man. But it is a thing, apparently.
But
It
I
is a
never
thing.
saw it either.
So, I don't know how to comment on these because I had zero idea they even existed
Yeah,
before, so I don't know.
dude rode an alligator through a shopping mall to steal some jewellery for his cousin who he was also married to. That sort of
Wow.
thing helped to build up this kind of stereotype in your head about Americans in general. And in recent years, when that kind of story drops, it usually falls under the category of Florida
What
man.
is the point
which,
in
you
that?
know, might be unfair to Florida. I don't know. Might be unfair to men. But I suppose there's a perception that Florida produces a higher ratio of these kinds of stories, probably because they have more alligators. But anyway, rest assured that those kind of stories make it to England because they're so extreme. And because they're so extreme, that means that most Americans aren't like this. In hindsight, I suppose that's pretty obvious, but sometimes you've just got to cut through the perceptions that are created by the news.
Definitely.
In a previous video, I...
No, it's applaud of a cinema.
I never thought about that.
No, but yeah, I'm trying to think of applauding. I get I've heard of applauding when a movie was like that good. I've heard like some people have watched movies at the cinema and it's been that amazing the whole cinema's applauded. I didn't think that was an American thing, but I've heard that.
Yeah, no, we did that at the cinema. Not we, as
I was
in
gonna say I never
we.
did that.
The One Direction movie. Yeah, everyone clapped after.
Yeah, I was talking about good movies.
That was a good movie when I was 12.
But I haven't heard about that. I didn't know it's an American thing again. We're not
Yeah,
sure
I've heard about it, but I've never subjected it just to Americans.
But people might. This is why Lawrence is teaching us as well.
I talked about the American tendency to applaud at the end of films, but in hindsight, I'm not sure they really do all that often. I feel like I've only seen it happen once, and that was at the end of a Star Wars film, and us Star Wars fans are quite fanatical, right? I didn't see too many people clap their hands at Phantom Thread. It doesn't mean that they didn't enjoy it. They might even have found it a bit weird. But the fact is, most American cinema goers don't reach the end of the film and go, oh yeah, kick ass! They just sort of, take it in, like British cinema
Like most
goers.
people.
Get up and
In
leave.
fact, on the
That's all.
whole, I'm not sure there's too much difference in the way that British and American cinema goers behave. Both countries have those people who talk too loud or check their phone or spill popcorn everywhere.
Yeah.
That's me. The popcorn person is me. Anyway, speaking of applause-worthy entertainment on your screen, that brings us on to this. Oh, hello. Don't mind me. Just...
Check out the ad, link in the description, but after this.
Aha, this is a
No, I
huge
always
one
believed
that
in them.
British people like me.
Oh, I don't know.
I always, whenever I saw,
You know, I'm gonna agree with that.
I think I was the complete opposite. I always associated America's schools with
I
the
knew
buses.
them. I seen them on the movies, but I think when I first went to New York and I saw one, I went, "Oh, they actually have them." I thought it was
Yeah.
just a movie thing. I think I genuinely thought it was just a movie thing. But when I saw it, because we don't have, by the way, 99% of places in the UK don't have school buses. You just got to get them a normal day-to-day
They
bus.
have, so like in Jersey, they have school buses and they go from the bus station to school. They don't pick up at houses and things.
But it's just
They are a
normal bus.
regular, normal. That bus, once it's dropped in the school run, will go and do normal service.
And then in England, most places don't even have that. It's pretty much just you get on the normal number 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
Other people are on it, old, young, whatever.
But not particularly ones that pick you up from house points.
No house points. It's just, mad.
It's mad, but it's so good though for parents that are working and things. To...
Oh, 100%. But
And I guess in America as well, your school is probably quite far away from your house.
so you need that transport every day.
Yeah.
You can't walk there. It makes sense, but the yellow buses, I thought it was a movie thing.
It's
just
cool, though.
from the
They're
upbringing. Definitely.
I believe, in fact, it's probably just me, that these yellow school buses that you see in films, from Superman to Forrest Gump to every other one, was just a made-up movie trope like the 555 area code. But not only are these buses very, very real, they are found throughout the entire country, to the extent that I even did a video on how they became standardized.
Ooh, let's
Their
know if you want to check
mustard
that out.
yellow
That'd be
colour was
interesting.
specifically chosen because it was determined that this colour was the most visible to fellow drivers and therefore would result in fewer accidents.
Makes sense.
American yellow school buses are as real as red London buses. Let me know in the comments below which you think is more iconic.
Ooh, I don't know actually.
Every now and again,
Ooh, all Americans are arrogant. We are very chilled out people, so I've never thought about it. I've never really thought about it, to be honest.
No, and I feel like before we did these videos, we're still young now, but we were quite young, so would we have thought about it?
Yeah, we were probably arrogant because we didn't pay attention and didn't know, if that makes sense.
But I don't think 12-year-old me would think, oh, Americans, do you know what I mean?
I mean, you didn't do these videos till you're 21. I don't know where 12 came from.
No,
But
but like,
I've never
but even
had
when I
that
went to New
perception.
York, I didn't think, oh, they're out. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, when we went, I
It's
didn't
not
think
something that
anyone
goes through
was.
my mind, I don't think.
At the end of the day, it's a person by person basis, no matter where you are. In my opinion, it's always but don't judge a book by its cover. Meet them, have a good chat. If they're rude to you, fair enough. If they're not rude to you, you know what I mean? It's happy days. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
be nice to them. That's my logic on it anyway.
you will hear it said that Americans are arrogant, right? This
12
broad
years
sweeping
old.
statement that all Americans are arrogant. And I think the thing is, the full spectrum of personality traits can be found in all countries. It's like saying all Americans are selfless or all Americans are shy. I mean, sure, I've encountered the odd, sometimes very odd, arrogant American, but the same was true perhaps to an equal extent in Britain,
Yeah.
just with British people, not Americans. Perhaps the perception arises from the fact that arrogant people tend to do or say things that gets people's attention and therefore is packaged up into a neat and tidy clickbait article that helps to once again further propagate this idea that all Americans are the same way.
Makes sense.
And, you know, the world of entertainment probably does that for this, the perception that all Americans have perfectly white teeth. And I know
Movies.
I've never thought about it. The
But-
only reason I'd think about it is because everyone mocks the British teeth. That's
Yeah,
it.
I never thought about it, but when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about the movies and
Very white
you've got
teeth.
like the Mean Girls and things. The high school students have all got amazing teeth. And it's like,
yeah.
like surely
Sure.
someone's got bad teeth.
Yeah, someone must have. But I just knew the memes about the British having bad
Mm.
teeth. I think I got quite good gnashes.
I do.
Yeah, you have as well. You don't want to smile, do you?
No, but I think it's just weird showing your teeth.
I thought I did that. I apologise, guys.
what you're thinking, ooh, Lawrence, anybody's teeth look perfect next to the British. But, you know, studies have found that we have some of the healthiest teeth, so who's laughing now? Not us, but for your benefit. Now, the truth is that American dentistry does favour a more aesthetically driven approach to teeth maintenance. So, while teeth are developing, most kids will wear braces, and many Americans whiten their teeth with teeth whiteners. But some Americans have bad or wonky teeth, right? I'm not going to name names, but Chainsaw Jim looks like he hasn't been to the dentist in 40 years.
Poor
It's
Jim.
just that America doesn't have a tendency to slap those people on the front of magazines.
True.
Makes sense.
And finally, before I moved
Yes.
here, I had this impression that America
thought
was
that
all
too.
part...
Did you? Oh, well, I mean, I've never thought about it.
I
I've
literally
never
thought
thought
America
about it.
was just hot and beaches and
You know, I will say yes to that because I always wanted to go to Hawaii. So I always thought, like, Hawaii and its beaches and sun, so I'll go with yeah.
I feel like maybe because the only place, like growing up, the main places I knew of were like Florida, California,
Florida, yeah.
Hawaii, your hot places.
Not the
And
cold
I thought
ones.
I didn't think about Utah or California, Colorado
Yeah.
or something,
It makes sense. All the cold
Wyoming or
places.
something like that. I
Yeah,
didn't think
yeah.
about that.
They've never existed potentially if you've not looked into it.
palm trees and beaches, which is weird because I've seen the film The Shining. I think a big part
Not
of that,
seen it.
though, is that a lot of films that come out of the United States are in fact filmed in California, which does have a lot of palm trees and beaches. The problem is there's this huge part in the middle of the country that isn't on the coasts. And that middle part tends to be a sort of petri dish for the worst weather you've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's why I have to endure about 4 tornado warnings every year.
That's scary.
That's why there's all this
It
snow
is.
and low temperatures at this time of year, and why you should watch my November special for more information. Basically, America is a rich tapestry of all kind of weather patterns. Not to mention topography. For all of the beaches that you have on its admittedly long coastline, there are places that many humans can't even set foot. Then there are places that most humans could set foot but choose not to because there's nothing for 100 miles.
Yep.
So the perception that I previously developed that it's all sunshine and beaches probably comes from the fact that I craved sunshine and beaches when I lived in Britain, despite the fact that it's also a myth that it perpetually rains there. That's it
Hey,
for this
Cleethorpes
video.
is
Let
a
me know in
great
the
beach.
comments below.
Yo, Cleethorpes. It's not too bad, actually. Enjoy that?
Yeah, it was good.
That was very movie-related kind of myths and stuff like that, wasn't
yeah.
it? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. It's getting dark outside. We've got a window open, so a few flies have come in, haven't they?
Yeah.
So we will leave it here. Smash that button, smash subscribe, and what should we do?
Have a fantastic
And
day.
we'll see you, legends, in the next one. Peace.